Hello friends, once again welcome to bsolutions.com. My name is Amit and today I am going to demonstrate how to create financial performance report directly on your source data. So this is a series of videos which we have been working on to create CFO dashboard. This is part number 3. Let me show you what we need to prepare today. So this is the financial performance report which my business like to see. Okay, and it has got multiple elements. You see it consists of profit or statement, profit and loss statement. It has a balance sheet elements. It has a summary report for revenue, gross margin, total income, net profit margin, and so on. So CFO would like to see this information as part of their month end activity. Okay. So I'm going to create the same report, and I got the raw data from my business, and I'm going to prepare my report on top of this. So my functional user have prepared this Excel sheet, which your functional users are often so comfortable working in Excel sheet. They extracted this data from Oracle Hyphen Financial Management, and they wanted me to prepare a report on top of this. They use this report internally. However, in order to display this report in a chart and pivot, and in order to distribute report to the internal management team, this report has to be prepared in a Tableau. So the way the information given to us, I cannot use it directly to prepare my reports. Therefore, it is good idea to massage your data, normalize your data in a way that you can directly prepare a report on top of this in Tableau. Although you can use the same data as well, but it requires a lot of data massaging and a lot of complexity involved into clearing this data. So the best way to convert this data into Tableau format is to identify your dimension and facts. Look at your data and convert this information in terms of dimension and facts. So when I look at this income statement, I find over here I've got financial elements like different kind of revenues, expenses, and so on. I've got year 2014 and 15, and then I got a measure. Intersection of your revenues and year is your measure. So the information presented in Excel is a cross tabular view. However, we prefer the data in terms of tabular view. So I convert this data. I did little transformation part of this and create one column for each dimension and finally one column for measure. So if you look at this, I've got data for year and then I made a parent child. The idea behind creating a parent child member, because in this source data, if you look at this, it's a kind of parent child relationship. I've got revenues, their type of revenue, and expenses, type of expenses. I would like to give a facility to my users so that they can create an hierarchy on their own. They can drill down, look at detailed expenses and detailed revenue as well. So keeping this requirement in mind, I prepared data in this format. So I got year, parent, and child. I given a general term parent and child, though you can give any term you like to see. And finally, I've got measures. Right. So what you do? Step first, you log into your work to your Tableau, connect data. So this is my Excel data. This is my Excel income statement example, the one which I shown you in Excel sheet. I'm going to bring it into my source system and name it like financial data. And you look at this, the information has been extracted and the label is F1, F2, F3, F4, and the data type is also extracted, recognized by your Tableau. The first thing I'm going to do it, if I have some junk data, and I'm going to hide them, rename all the column. First one is year and the data type is string. If it is string ABC, it is considered as a dimension, right? Actually year is a dimension itself. If you convert this to measure, system will start adding apply aggregation rule on top of this, which is going to be wrong. And this one is, I call this as a financial element parent and financial element child. You can give your user friendly name. A right click, rename financial element child. And last one is your data, therefore it's a hash which represents your number. Rename it, you call this data, right? So I got year, financial element, parent, child, and data. I'm going to ready with this and build a report on top of this. You may have a lot of junk data in this which we need to deal with while we are creating filters. Okay, so let's see this how it look like. I've got financial element parent and I got financial element child. Sorry, financial element parent and child. I like to bring a first I like to bring a hierarchy on top of this. Okay, so what I'm going to do, it's a fairly simple. Just drag and drop your child under your parent. It's become a hierarchy. I call this financial hierarchy. Call this financial hierarchy where you see parent and child. Had you select parent over here, it would have automatically turns out to plus symbol, which allow you to further drill down to parent and child. But my parent record have got some null data like null and parent. I'm going to check them, uncheck them, and filter them out. So now I have got financial element parent and child. This is what exactly I wanted. I got data as well. So I got financial element parent and financial element child. Right? This is my total expenses, total revenue, isn't it? You can in turn add a subtotal as well. Go to total section, add subtotal. So there you get subtotal of expense and revenue. I would like to see the same with respect to multiple years. So this is year is your another dimension, 2014, 2015, right? This is fine. But what we need a gross margin, which is subtraction of both of them, total expense minus total revenue. So in order to find the gross margin, I need to create a calculative measure. Also, my data is one. It doesn't differentiate between expense and revenue. So I'm going to create a calculative measure on top of this, on top of my measure. Right click and create calculative measure. So first is going to be expenses. I'm going to differentiate my measure as expense and revenue. So I call this if my financial element parent equals to expenses, then call this as expense. Right? Call this expense if financial element parent is expense. Similarly, I create another measure on top of this. Create calculative field. Name it. If financial element is revenue, call it as revenue. So I got pretty nice two measures, expense and revenue. Right? I can replace this financial elements data with expense and revenue. Expense and revenue. Now I need to find out difference between both of them. Let me do it other way around. Expense and revenue. Okay. I like to find out difference between both of them as margin. So margin is simply a sum of subtraction of expense minus revenue. Total expense minus total revenue. Okay. I'm going to create a measure on top of this once again. Create calculative field. Now your name is gross margin. So sum of your expenses minus sum of your revenue. Gross margin. Right? This is what you wanted. Now when you place a gross margin over here, this is what you find. You don't see the gross margin. I'm going to add it as a measure under gross margin. It's not visible. So I'm going to apply one trick to make it visible. First I remove financial element from here. It seems I've got duplicate members appearing twice. I'm going to make it simple. Let's make it once again. I'm going to add a year over here. Year and going to add expenses, revenue, and gross margin. Right? This is exactly what we wanted. Expense, revenue, gross margin. But I want with respect to different years, and I want a label over here as well. Okay. So the moment I add a member financial parent, the gross margin disappears. Also, I like to put a filter over here, remove null and parent. The gross margin disappears. So what you can do, you can toggle to your chart and back to your table, right? So what we need to do it, we need to remove the financial element. Let's display only measures. I could see expense, revenue, and gross margin. This is what we wanted, right? This is what we wanted, finally got it. So it's a cross tabular view. You could also create a chart on top of this. In addition to this, I'm going to create a chart which talk about my across different year. I like to see my expenses and plot my chart on expenses first. Year is label is also coming in year, so I'm going to uncheck this year label. So you can turn it to vertical and horizontal by toggling between rows and column. Add a year over here. Year over year, your total expenses. In addition to expenses, I also like to display revenue. I'm going to add a revenue over here. Right, so it's a combination of expense and revenue. You can display this as your bar chart. I could see expense and revenue for year 2015, 2014. Expense and revenue. You can change the type of them as well. One is going to be bar chart, another one is going to be oval. That makes sense. Display the label as well to ensure what is your expenses, expense value, and what is your revenue. Sorry, revenue. Right. You can create a more sophisticated advanced chart and talk about expense, revenue, and difference between both of them. Stack chart, which talk about your expense, year over year expense, revenue, and gross margin. Take a year over here, take expenses, take revenue, plot is a chart, right? They are displaying two different labels. Swap them, display them as single label under single axis. The different in separate axis. So first also remove label, year as label. Here remove year as label. So revenue I'm going to display under one axis. Remove your expenses from here and put over the second axis, right? Display them as, so both of them are the displaying chart. In addition to this, you can display them in a single axis as well. Dual axis chart, single axis chart, this is your expenses, put it your revenue. So this is, you can create a cluster chart, expense and revenue for 2014 2015, right? So that's it for today. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to create next part of this dashboard. How do you prepare your balance sheet report and the remaining part of my monthly performance report. Subscribe to our channel bispsolutions.com, and we BISP is subject matter experts for data visualization for across all domain. We are specialized into financial data analytics as well. Thanks for watching today's video. Should you have any question, please write to us.